Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you just can't get ahead? Like you're stuck in a cycle of just getting by, always worried about the next bill, the next unexpected expense. I know that feeling all too well. For years, I was trapped by something I now call poverty thinking, and it almost completely derailed my life. Today, I want to share my story with you not for sympathy, but because I believe many of you might see a piece of yourselves in it, and I want to show you there's a way out. Growing up, money was always tight. The phrase "we can't afford that" was the soundtrack of my childhood. It wasn't just about not having fancy toys or new clothes, it was a constant, underlying stress that seeped into everything. My parents worked incredibly hard, but the message I absorbed was that life is a struggle, and money is a scarce, unpredictable resource that you have to cling to for dear life. This mindset, this poverty thinking, became my default operating system without me even realizing it. As I entered adulthood, this thinking manifested in some really destructive ways. My first instinct was always to hoard money. You might think, isn't saving a good thing? Yes, but this was different. This was fear-based hoarding. I would obsess over every single penny. I'd drive across town to save $1 on gas, spend hours comparing prices online to save a few cents, and feel immense guilt over buying anything that wasn't an absolute necessity. I remember once agonizing for a week over buying a new pair of shoes, even though my old ones had holes in them. The anxiety was paralyzing. This fear of spending didn't just affect my finances, it bled into my career. I was terrified to take risks. I stayed in a low-paying job I hated for years because the thought of leaving the security of a steady, albeit small, paycheck was petrifying. What if I quit and couldn't find another job? What if I started a business and it failed? The what-ifs were all rooted in a scarcity mindset, the belief that there weren't enough opportunities out there, that if I lost what I had, I'd never get it back. I saw every opportunity not as a potential gain, but as a potential loss. So, I played it safe. I turned down promotions that involved more responsibility because I was afraid I'd fail. I never negotiated my salary because I felt I should just be grateful to have a job at all. I was essentially telling the world, and myself, that I wasn't worth more. I was capping my own potential because I was so afraid of losing the little I had. This poverty thinking also damaged my relationships. I was hesitant to go out with friends because I didn't want to spend money on dinner or drinks. I'd make excuses, or suggest the cheapest possible option, which, looking back, probably made me seem cheap or antisocial. I couldn't enjoy experiences because my mind was constantly calculating the cost. A weekend trip wasn't a chance to make memories, it was a terrifying expense. This created a wall between me and the people I cared about. I was so focused on surviving that I forgot how to live. The turning point for me wasn't a single aha moment. It was a slow, painful realization. I was in my late 20s, looking at my life, and I felt empty. I had some savings, sure, but I was miserable. I was lonely, unfulfilled in my career, and constantly anxious. I realized that my relentless focus on not losing had made it impossible for me to win. My fear of poverty was creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, keeping me trapped in a life that was emotionally and professionally impoverished. I started by reading everything I could about money mindset, psychology, and personal development. The first big shift was understanding the difference between being frugal and being cheap. Frugality is about being smart and prioritizing your spending on what matters to you. Cheapness, driven by poverty thinking, is about spending as little as possible on everything, regardless of value or impact on your quality of life. I learned that it was okay to spend money on things that brought me joy, improved my health, or helped me grow. The next step was to change my relationship with risk. I started small. I invested a tiny amount of money in a course to learn a new skill. It was terrifying to press that buy button. My old brain was screaming, "That's a waste. You could save that money." But I did it anyway. And you know what? It paid off. The new skill helped me get a better paying side gig. It was a small win, but it was proof that investing in myself wasn't a loss. It was a game. This small victory gave me the courage to take a bigger leap. I finally started looking for a new job. I practiced negotiating my salary in the mirror. I felt ridiculous, but I did it. And when I got a job offer, I took a deep breath and asked for more than they offered. My heart was pounding. But they said yes. They actually said yes. In that moment, a huge mental barrier shattered. I realized I was worth more, and all I had to do was ask for it. Slowly, I began to reframe my thinking from scarcity to abundance. Instead of thinking, I can't afford that, I started asking, how can I afford that? This simple question shifted my focus from limitations to possibilities. It turned me from a passive victim of my circumstances into an active problem solver. It opened my mind to new income streams, new career paths, and new ways of thinking about wealth. I also worked on my relationships. I started saying yes to invitations. I allowed myself to enjoy a nice meal out with friends without mentally tallying the bill. I realized that the value of connection and shared experiences was worth far more than the money spent. The joy I got from these moments started to outweigh the anxiety about spending. It wasn't an overnight fix, and to be honest, I still have moments where that old poverty thinking creeps back in. When I face a big decision or an unexpected expense, I can feel that old fear bubbling up. But now, I have the tools to recognize it and fight back. I remind myself that my worth isn't tied to my bank account. I remind myself that opportunities are abundant, not scarce. I remind myself that investing in my growth, my health, and my happiness is the best investment I can ever make. If any of this resonates with you, please know you are not alone, and you are not stuck. The first step is awareness, recognizing that this poverty mindset is holding you back. Challenge the beliefs you have about money. Are they really true, or are they just old stories you've been telling yourself? Start small. Take one tiny risk. Invest in one small thing for your own growth. Say yes to one experience you'd normally avoid because of cost. Overcoming poverty thinking isn't about becoming a reckless spender. It's about breaking free from the fear that keeps you small. It's about giving yourself permission to want more, to be more, and to live a richer, more fulfilling life in every sense of the word. You deserve it. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content on building a life of abundance. I'd love to hear your own experiences with this in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey. See you in the next video.